to the semi-finals. That's a lovely start. I think that's been a big improvement for Wawrinka this year. Will be the quality of the forehand and his ability to dictate play with it.
Yeah, and I think also the first serve, he's certainly going for that more now. Maybe that first serve percentage has dropped off a little bit. In fact, it's going to be interesting to compare it to previous years, that he's getting a lot more free points, short replies. And of course, you can use the forehand.
And even if you're not generating a lot more pace, to step up to the line with the attitude that this is a shot that I want to dominate with helps, doesn't it?
It's a mindset, isn't it? And I think that transcends to the rest of your game.
The lights on the back of the court. Thank you.
Nice to see Wawrinka mixing things up as well in terms of the tactics behind the serve. Got to keep Nadal guessing on the return. I was so impressed with the quality of his cross-court backhands the other day. Not going deep, but going short as he did there to create the angle. It's such a safe shot as far as he knows. They've achieved so much in the game. It's lovely tennis.
And I think this place has taken on a sort of status as a Madison Square Garden. It's become so popular. Most of the sessions have been sold out.
Yeah, it's an iconic venue, isn't it? That's important. It's not just a tennis event.
So much to do in and around the tennis itself.
And there's so many other big events that are held in this stadium. It's nice to be a part of that. That's a lovely return. And again, Nadal going into the body rather than out wide. I think he has to take on that second serve, surely. Does not got any chance at all of getting the right results. Return 1 mile an hour quicker than the actual serve. That doesn't happen very often. Of course, a lot of interest for Carlos Moya here, the new Spanish Davis Cup captain. Big friends with Nadal, always has been, and he was instrumental initially, kind of mentoring Nadal, wasn't he, when he first started to play on the tour?
Yep. I think it was a big help for Nadal as well, because you get to practice with the #1 player in the world. Of course, in his book, as I was alluding to a little earlier, it talks about some of those practice sessions. And I mean, at the age of 15, he was winning sets off Moya when Moya was ranked #1 in the world. So, of course, potential was there. And, of course, you talk about the belief growing. It's a huge advantage for a youngster, isn't it?
Yep.
Know that you've got the tools.
Spaniards are so good at that. The older players, they always practice with the younger players that are making their way through and up the rankings. They feel it's something that they have to do, they should do, they want to do. It's a really nice attitude to have. It's the same with the coaches. They all share their various experiences, all try and help each other's players. That's why there's so many good players now in Spain, and I'm sure we'll see many more of those in the future. Nadal will play his part as well, I'm sure. He's been brought up very well by his family and, of course, Uncle Tony as well. Very respectful of all that he's been able to achieve, and His upbringing was relatively stern, tennis-wise. And you can see that now in the way that he holds himself. Appreciates the position he's in. Of course, yesterday there was Newcomer of the Year Award presented on the centre court here. Carrero Busta was the recipient. Young Spanish player. Played over 100 matches this season at Futures, Challenger and ATP World Tour level. And now inside the top 100. We'll see more of him in the future. And of course, when I was watching him play in Estoril earlier this year, Robredo was practicing with him. And that was a tournament in which he lost to Wawrinka. Wawrinka went on to win that, but it was obvious that he was going to be a good player. It was one of Wawrinka's better tournaments of the year. Beat Ferrer in the final, absolutely destroyed him. I was sat courtside all week, and I just couldn't believe how well he was striking the ball, particularly that single-handed backhand. It was just an absolute joy to watch. Sometimes you can't get a sense of that on TV. It's fantastic footwork from Nadal initially, but that's the advantage Wawrinka has on this court. If you can hit that slice backhand and get it to stay that low, that will be troublesome for Nadal.
And you can see it's not easy to get that ball up and down quickly and effectively. Even someone like Rafa hits the ball with so much spin.
That's good pace. That's the tactic that Ferrer used in Paris, defeating Nadal, going hard and deep to the Spaniard's forehand.
Wawrinka leads by 2 games to 1.
It's been a good start. No breaks. 2-1.
And I guess for Wawrinka, you can't feel too unhappy about losing this point. Nadal's had to guess his way out of trouble. It's still the necessary hands to shovel that back into the court. The timing's got to be good. Great defensive skills, especially on that backhand wing. Strong right hand, the top hand, of course. Nadal is a right-hand dominant, if you can believe it. Watched a great YouTube clip the other day. They were doing some stuff with him at Wimbledon a couple of years ago, and they asked him to right with his left hand. Couldn't do it. Throw darts with his left hand. Couldn't do it.
But yet he'll tell you he wouldn't have had as much success serving as a right-hander.
Of course.
So it's never been a major strength of his, but of course the angles that it creates, the way it opens up the court, such an advantage.
That'll be a good battle within the overall war. That backhand cross-court of Wawrinka taking on the forehand of Nadal. If he can get enough angle, mix it up with a bit of pace as well. That hard, flat one. First serve was in, incidentally. That'll be a good battle.
Yesterday we had 1 or 2 problems with Hawkeye. It wasn't available for about a period of about sort of 20 minutes or so, but we're up and running today.
Wow, it's got a lot of swing on that one.
Yeah, but he's not sure. He wants to look at the mark. That's why he's decided to challenge now. And it was good. He jogged up there, didn't take a Delpo. Takes a bit more time, doesn't it? Umpires say it has to be done in a timely manner. That's the rule. Good challenge.
Second serve.
Both players will be pretty pleased with the starts they've made.
Yeah, I think it's a good start. More winners than unforced errors for both. Serving could be a little bit better as far as the first serve percentage is concerned, but both backing up their serves really well.
So this is the first real test for Wawrinka. Needs a couple of big first serves here.
It's close, but I think it's just missed.
Good decision not to challenge.
Great play. Even though the backhand up the line wasn't struck perfectly, it's good enough, but it's the move forward that's so important. If he lets that bounce and has to reset the point, Nadal's probably going to get back in. Fortune favouring the brave.
Sensible shot from Nadal there. So difficult on this course if that ball is low and central. How are you going to be aggressive from that position?
Yeah, I think you just got to play for depth there. Forget about hitting winners. It's a shot of Nadal's that's improved over the years as well. That backhand start's got plenty of knife on it.
And he'll tell you it was very important for him to improve that shot, to give him options in a situation exactly like that. 2 break points. And that's better. It's only the second first serve he's made in this game.
30.
tame way to surrender serve.
And it was a poor game overall, really, wasn't it? Not enough first serves made, too many unforced errors, including the double. They'll be disappointed. A nice bonus for Nadal, who now leads 3-2. This particular group. I mean, that's the killer for a player with a single-handed backhand when you come up against Nadal. The way you can just hook that forehand cross-court. You can't do anything from that position other than defend. Chip or lob, your only two options there. Whereas if you've got a double-hander, then you can sometimes hook that one cross-court. We saw a couple of fantastic ones from Djokovic last night, didn't we? You can throw up a topspin lob, maybe. A little flick of the wrist up the back of the ball.
Because initially Wawrinka does so well to make up the odds and find a good angle. What dexterity! He's hit there like a squash shot behind him in the back corner.
And the presence of mind to know that that's the shot to play under that kind of pressure. And very sensible serving too. That's a couple of times in this game he's gone to the Wawrinka forehand. Stands there with a backhand grip when returning. So if you can get the ball going into his body, finds it very difficult to actually come over and hit an aggressive return there. That was kind of a half-hearted attempt at kind of blocking it back, wasn't it? So this match has changed pretty dramatically in the last 5 minutes or so. Nadal now with a 4-2 lead in the opening set. It's interesting there, we just saw a quick Hawkeye graphic there of that final shot of Wawrinka's, which was called out, but in fact it did clip back edge of the baseline there, so had he challenged, he'd still be in that previous game.
Yeah, it's killing him at the moment. Got away with it in the opening 2 games. Until once Nadal settled into his rhythm, got used to the second serve.
That's the basis for everything, isn't it? When you play against Nadal, you have to be able to dominate on serve, and if you're not making first serves, you simply can't. And it hurts your overall confidence. You don't serve well, you don't tend to play well. And of course, the opposite is true. Serving out of a mountain, you feel like you can do anything. It's more like it.
He almost gave Carlos Bernardes the dummy there. They lifted the hand up and then just stroked the hair back behind his ear, and then the full Monty.
Beautifully done. That's the way to construct the points against Nadal on this particular court.
And so important to move forward. Once you've got him in trouble, got to try and make him hit passing shots when he's at extreme range. And if he does it too good,
good little backhand from Nadal there. That's the advantage of having a double-hander. We were talking about that earlier. If Wawrinka was in a similar position there, would have found it very, very difficult to hit with topspin. But Nadal can use his right hand up the back of the ball, bit of spin on it, and additional pace. These are the two hands. And force the error. Another chance to break. That was a good serve.
Good to see him continue to come forward and not be put off by missing the previous volley. Got to try and take time away from Rafa every given opportunity.
Oh, lovely combination.
Coach and Davis Cup captain delighted.
Definitely trying to mix things up now at this stage in the match. Always easier to hold when you get a few more first serves in. It provides you with options. First shot of the rally. And of course, tactically.
Love of him. First service.
Certainly helped Wawrinka's confidence. Nice cheap point from Nadal there. Gives him a half chance here of getting back on serve. Shame. Let's see what he was trying to do. That's one of the fundamental reasons why Wawrinka's found it difficult to get close to beating Nadal. It's very difficult to dominate against the Spaniard with a single-handed backhand. I think you've got to be ready for that serve. Big point like that, especially if you watched Nadal play yesterday against Ferrer, serving a lot into the body. He's done it already a lot today against Wawrinka, who stands there with the backhand grip to return. Finds that forehand bunt tough to play, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's always swinging into you as well. It's difficult to connect it on the right area of the strings, a little too low, and it just flies on you.
Lovely backhands.
But I like the anticipation initially. As soon as he hit the first hard one there, he scooted over. So he had even more time to execute the second one. And That's so much what tennis is about. Of course, Nadal's a master at doing that. Getting in position and understanding the most likely response from your opponent. Gives you more time on the ball.
Thank you.
First break points of the match for Wawrinka.
Rafael.
Do you think he was attempting the right shot there, Robbie?
Yes, I do. I think he's going aggressively to a relatively safe spot. He's going over the lowest part of the net. Needed to be aggressive. He's in a good position. Obviously, I don't want him to miss in the net if he's my charge, if I'm being really picky.
Oh, brilliance! Absolutely superb.
And I thought initially in the rally he was being a little too passive.
Advantage in Wawrinka.
But when pressed for an answer, he's given a definitive one. What a strike. Head so nice and still. Look how he lays the wrist back. And that one's come right out of the dead center. What balance, dynamic balance that is.
Now what can he do here? Break points and a look at a second serve. Well, it was a predetermined play, but it's such a difficult one to execute against the lefty for obvious reasons. That ball is just coming into your rib cage all the time, and if you don't have enough room, you can't be aggressive with the shot. Can't swing freely at it. Surely there, just let it come to your backhand, give it a rip with your best shot. Much easier against the lefty.
Just moved a little too late as well, I thought.
Just struggling with his first serve in this game, Nadal's only made 3 of 9.
Advantage in Nadal.
He's got good hands, Carlos. Crucial hold that. But Wawrinka had his chances, didn't he?
He certainly did, and that's the difference between the two. When Nadal has a poor service game, I think he only made 4 out of 10 first serves there. He's still to you on that. Take a deep position in the court and rip that backhand. That's what he did in the first break point. Got set into it nicely.
It's a shame. It's nice variation. It's a shot that he likes to use when he's feeling confidence. Good length.
Not the way clay quarters defend like that. They're in a bit of trouble, just hard up the middle. They try and find some good length. Don't even think about hitting the ball near the lines.
It's interesting you mention that because as a junior, I was part of the LTA setup here. I was never taught to go up the middle of the court.
Couldn't agree with you more.
I always thought you had to try and be creating an angle or going up the line, and it's only after I started watching the pros and analysing closely that I saw they used that tactic. It's a great one to use on the return or when you're under pressure. Give yourself wide margins, but still highly effective. Yeah, it's a great serve. Just lowered the ball touch a little bit, couldn't get the arm. More pace as a result. Almost 140 miles an hour. That one right into Nadal's ribcage. Superb serve.
For there.
Good start. It's nice and aggressive there, trying to dictate play.
For a lot of players, when they play against Nadal, they know that's basically the only course of action they can really adopt, and sometimes it simplifies your game plan. You don't have to overthink. Can't be passive against the guy. See, there it is again, not making the adjustment with the grip, and it has to be a quick change as well. But if you're off by an inch, Stan's caught that one just above the throat on the strings, and it just balloons off there.
But don't you then take a bit of a risk? You know Nadal's served there on the big points in the set so far. Go with the forehand grip.
Yep.
Be ready for it.
Yep.
And if he goes out wide, too good. He's outfoxed you. You know, that is his best return, the backhand. So get ready for your weaker return, the forehand. Do everything you can to prep for that. Expect that, and you'll be able to make the adjustment on your backhand.
Does feel foreign, though. You know that.
Of course.
When you're holding a completely different grip than what you're accustomed to.
Of course.
So it's a big risk to take.
But when you've lost all 11 previous matches against somebody, you've got to change something up, haven't you?
True.
Take a few risks.
Second service. Mr. Wawrinka found the call at the right parcel line. The ball was cut out.
Wow, that's impressive from Stan.
Mr. Wawrinka has 2 challenges.
To take that backhand right on his tiptoes to make himself as tall as possible so he can be as aggressive as possible. Got to be so strong in your upper body.
Good tennis. Nadal, little first switch out, a couple of those forehands, didn't he? That's why it dropped a little short, and Wawrinka wasn't shy to pull the trigger on the final backhand. He's had a very aggressive mindset throughout the course of this game, and his reward is an opportunity to break and get back on level terms. So a warning for Nadal, taking a little too much time here. Next time that happens, he'll lose the use of his first serve. Brilliance! Superb game from Wawrinka. And he is indeed back on level terms.
Well, I love the attitude, and this wasn't an easy shot. He's got to brush up the back, but he can't give it too much air. It's got to be nice and aggressive. Gets the contact spot on.
Good pace on the serve. That's pretty much as hard as he can hit it. Almost 140 miles an hour.
Reminds me a lot of Nico Almagra. Both of them, they don't have these languid, flowing serves. It's very simple. Of course, because they're so strong, able to generate the pace. Simple action.
And he's got a lovely slider on him and serving to the juice court. So when he then brings the heat, at about 136, 137 miles an hour, it's effective because the opponent's not seeing it every single time. Got a great kicker on him as well. Use all the different types of spin. Create doubt in his opponent's mind. We're in the midst of swinging momentum here. Oh, what a volley. Absolutely superb. Wawrinka building up a fantastic head of steam here. A quick hold. He's won 12 of the last.
Fifth one a set of Rafa in all their previous 11 meetings. So with this momentum change, all the pressure suddenly right back on the shoulders of Nadal. Now would be a good time to break new ground. that serve again. Putting a swing on.
15 all.
Of course, a good player will compute that straight away. Bank it in the memory. Continue to use it wisely.
It's a lovely serve. Wawrinka just attempting to stand a little further back, but of course when doing that you allow your opponent to create more of an angle with that slice serve.
All take 15. Game Nadal.
It's a good hole, it's nice and comfortable, and that will take us into a tiebreak. And it's worth remembering that when these two met in Shanghai just a few weeks ago, the opening set there was decided on a tiebreak. Nadal winning it to 12 points to 10. They had an epic when they played each other in Canada as well back in 2010. Nadal winning that opening set tiebreak 14-12. So this one could be equally close and of course of vital importance.
Nadal.
Is it more important here, Robbie, for Wawrinka to win this tiebreak than Nadal?
Oh, 100%. Without a doubt. He's invested a lot of time and effort already in this set, and to come out with nothing at the end of an hour, it'll be soul destroying.
This is when Wawrinka needs to work hard mentally.
2-0.
Gets behind. Remember, he played Burdick on the opening day here, lost the second set tiebreak, 7 points to love. So that will be in the back of his mind. Let's stay positive here. It did look wide. Nadal will just want confirmation, given we're in a breakup.
Constance. 2-1 Nadal. Mr. Nadal has 2-22. Two all.
15 of 14 of 17 points, I should say, when that first serve's found its mark. That was looking good, wasn't it? 2 love, balls in hands, and all of a sudden, Wawrinka's turned things around nicely. Big point this, Wawrinka with a 4-2 lead at the change of ends. Will be looking good.
Struggled big time, especially on that side. Just mixed the serve up enough. Couple of bodies, couple out wide. It was to the backhand, but backhand body on that occasion. And he's kept Wawrinka unsettled and returning from that ad court.
It's a lovely variation, isn't it? Precisely the right moments. It's a good serve. Every first serve, when it gets this tight, worth its weight in gold. Totally committed to the forehand there. It was good to see.
Very good second serve as well. Lots of width. Situations like this, you cannot back down against the best player in the world. Got to take it to him. You've got to have the mindset that you're going to win the points rather than hoping he's going to make an unforced error. And if he does, it's just a bonus. So intelligent is Nadal. You see how he gave those forehands a little bit more air, a little bit more height, so it could get higher up on Wawrinka.
That's an incredible get from Nadal. How was he able to do that?
Oh, it's ridiculous. Against 99 out of the top 100 players, that backhand would have been good enough, Jason. But of course, Nadal is not in that category.
That's why.
Thank you.
Yet to not have any payoff at the end of it. So here's Nadal, start of the second set. A gentle reminder that if Nadal wins in straight sets, then he qualifies for semi-finals and, of course, locks up the year-end #1 world ranking. He saw Wawrinka racing up the court there, and that's why he felt he had to create a little more of an angle with that backhand volley. It's frustrating, isn't it? Especially off the back of the loss of the opening set. Magnus Norman, Severin Luthi will be well aware of how important that opening set was, given that Wawrinka's never taken a set off Nadal in their 11 previous meetings. It's just a killer, confidence and belief. Might have been a bit of noise from the Nadal camp, which is in that corner of the court there.
Mr. Nadal is trying to call the right center line. The ball is called out. Second serve.
Such a good backhand from Nadal, and there's nothing wrong with the approach there.
Advantage in Nadal.
That's where the Nadal camp is obviously on the same side of the court as Stan, especially when he was returning on the previous point from the deuce court. You can see the proximity. Tony shouting instructions to Nadal on the opposite side.
There's a really sensible slice backhand again. The last one just aimed right down the centre of the court. And Wawrinka then has to try and create some kind of angle. It's
ball to love.
It's good length. It was nice to force your opponent to half volley the ball at the baseline. So a lot easier to draw errors from them as a result. So we were just mentioning earlier that Nadal's come into this match with a very specific game plan, especially when serving to the ad court.
Yeah, you can see often he's using the body serve, folks. 82% of the time. That one, obviously, when it hits the court there, it's still got plenty of slice on it. It's coming into the body forehand of Wawrinka, and he struggled to make a lot of meaningful returns. In fact, he hasn't made that many at all when trying to chip it back and play. And
it's a very similar game plan to the one that Nadal used very well yesterday against Ferrer. In fact, he served 90% of his first serves to Ferrer's forehand when serving to the left court. And that worked well. Tied him up time after time. Found it very difficult to hit aggressively. Normally, as a lefty against a right-hander, especially a player with a single-handed backhand, you just use your slider out wide all day to open up the court. He's working hard now emotionally, isn't he, Wawrinka? Very easy to get negative in a situation like this when you've had so little success against a particular opponent.
And a lot of people ask me about that, and I want to get your thoughts on it. How do you handle that situation when you've invested so much time and effort, but you've got nothing to show for it? Oh, what a backhand.
It's not easy, is it? You've got to try and put all of those previous matches out of your mind, and you've got to keep reminding yourself of how well you've played this season, what great tennis you've been able to play against top 10 opposition. His record against the best in the world is outstanding, third best on tour this year. And you've got to see it as a challenge. How can you adapt? How can you stay positive in the face of adversity? It's easy when everything's going well.
Of course, that's what it's all about, isn't it? And I think that's why when you train, you've got to try and create adverse situations for yourself. When you're tired after, you know, 2.5-hour practice, push on for an extra half an hour. Make that, in your mind, the tail end of a 3-set match. Set of wheels from Stan.
And that's the kind of body language that I think his camp are looking for right now. A positive reaction to the loss of the opening set. Good little hustle this. Would have been easy to get suckered into just doing the little bunt up the line there. That's what Nadal was looking for. Drop volley is a shot that works well on this court because the ball stays nice and low, but Wawrinka had anticipated it beautifully. This would give him a real boost, wouldn't it? If we were able to get the break here.
It's a tough one to beat Nadal with. You're going up the line there of the higher part of the net. I was hoping he would just go inside out. Push going over the lower part of the net, then it's a high percentage play.
That's a shot that Ferrer had a lot of success with against Nadal in Paris, wasn't it? Didn't really move up to the ball there. And there was that serve again to the Wawrinka forehand. If you are going to be aggressive, rather than just get set and wait for the ball to come to you, you've got to try and move up the court, take the ball a little earlier to take time away from your opponent. And then, of course, you don't have to generate as much pace yourself. You don't have to take as big a cut at the ball, so it's easier to time the shot.
Advantage in Nadal.
There it is again. Very sensible serving under pressure there. Game needs to keep taking care of his own deal. The play was perfect. Unfortunately, the execution was anything but. Mentioned at the beginning of the game, it's an important passage of play. Match can be won here in the next few minutes by Nadal if he's able to convert one of these 3 break points. Got a chance to make amends here. First serve percentage is poor in this set, so made 3 of 9 so far. It's an awful game, really. It's the last thing Wawrinka needed. So, well and truly up against it now. Nadal just 3 games away from securing his safe passage into the semi-finals on Sunday, and of course, also securing the year-end world #1 ranking. Nice little sneak through the error.
So it's so important to be moving it whilst your ball is travelling to the other side of the court, understanding how well you've hit the shot. Because so often it's the off the ball movement that can create an error, just like we saw there.
it was on, wasn't it? So he stood well up the court, so he fancied his chances. Oh, I'll tell you what, I mean, Nadal did not challenge that, and it's well in.
And his camp is actually looking right down that baseline, and they could have easily given him a signal.
Yeah, very surprising that. Kind of discussion there. He does have a good view of that baseline, but perhaps justice will have been seen to have been done there. Oh, what a good forehand that was.
Such a good change-up, wasn't it? We're so used to him going cross-court on the run. The best players in the world instinctually know when to change things up. It's a sixth sense they have. It's so difficult to replicate. Great tennis IQs.
There's not a lot of success with that forehand return today, Wawrinka. And he's looking a little downhearted at the moment. One of his better forehands of the afternoon there. Good footwork initially. A lot of ground to cover there initially. But having done so, he was able to create a wonderful angle.
Nadal is on 4 games.
tennis, really opening up the court well there. And that will have been the game plan coming into the match. Was he able to do that regularly enough when it really mattered was the big question. No, that's brilliant.
Spinning the court beautifully.
Just playing with a little more wild abandon now, isn't he? I guess thinking that it's pretty much now or never.
But I like where that backhand landed. I think too many occasions today he's been almost overly aggressive with the backhand instead of trusting that it's good enough when going to Nadal's forehand.
Well, that's the way to turn defence into attack. A couple of really good forehands there from Wawrinka. Both hit with real purpose. Continues to compete well. 2 break points. Got away with it, but constructed the point beautifully, so perhaps he will argue that he deserved that little bit of luck there. Much better game.
He might have just found the secret. Plug in Nadal's forehand a little bit more now is Wawrinka, and it's paying dividends.
Yeah, it certainly worked for Ferrer when the two Spaniards met in Paris last week. Of course, it is a little easier to open your shoulders and swing freely when you're behind. It'll be fascinating to see whether Wawrinka can continue to do so. He's able to draw level here. Lovely tennis. Really nice variation. was there for the taking, wasn't it? Had the time to get around it, but again, he was a little too close to the ball, and that's why it shot off. That crazy little angle there. You've always got to allow for a little more room when you're playing against the lefty, because the ball's always going to come into your body. Incredible. We'll be so disappointed he missed with the final backhand, but what an overhead.
Of course, when I see a smash like this, there's only one player that springs to mind, and it's the great Jimmy Connors. A bowler smash. Complete 360.
How's that for athletic ability? Just needs to tighten up in this game, Wawrinka, in terms of not making unforced errors, of course, not getting nervous. Because Nadal is now under a little more pressure. Had a commanding lead in this set. Finish line was well within sight. Very different scenario now.
Whoa, what happened there? Just got to calibrate the compass.
Well, remember at the tail end of the opening sets, it's 12 of 15 points that were won at one stage. But here in the second set, 14 of 18 have now gone Wawrinka's way. Better tennis from Nadal, a little more aggressive, but of course it was height over the net, which gave him the depth that was key.
And of course, makes it so tough regarding the single-handed backhand. Don't generate any pace when the ball's up around your ear, head height.
Continues to try and use that forehand from that position in the court, which is virtually impossible to do against the left-hander. Good game from Nadal's perspective there. Spaniard now leads 5-4 seconds.
2 great shots in a row. And Nadal's forced him to play the toughest shot in the game.
15 all.
Such a sensible lob over the backhand side. Wow, it's a strong forearm. He snaps the wrist yet, does a lot of work. So easy to get that wrong.
The first, which was back edge of the line, but no adjustment on the second. Oh yeah, he's made it. Thanks on a footer now. He's pretty much swinging with wild abandon. He's forced his way back into contention in this second set.
So clever, isn't it? It's always keeping you off balance, throwing you just enough variation.
Superb. Really good movements, but then all the while he knew exactly what shot he was going to play when he made the distance and made contact with the ball. Short angle volleys are so effective on this surface. Doesn't get up at all.
Thank you.
This is a good game from Nadal.
It's just reasserting his authority, isn't it? It's a lovely return. In order to create an angle like that, you've got to make sure that the racket head is in front of the wrist upon contact with the ball, and you're brushing around the outside edge of it. Get the spin to get it to dip over the net, then land nice and short. Those don't come back.
They certainly don't. And this is about as good as it gets. And when you watch this one, make sure you got a soft place for your jaw to land, because that is exquisite.
Thank you.
Nevertheless, that was a really good game from Nadal. Nice and positive. This has been a good response from Wawrinka since he fell behind in the second set.
15 long.
This is the type of tennis we were expecting at the beginning of the match, and quality of tennis that he would have known in his heart of hearts was required today to get the better of Nadal.
Very decent numbers, and of course it has to be part of the game plan. He's got to try and get forward. He's done pretty well considering who's on the other side of the net.
He was fortunate, though. Didn't time that pickup off a really good return.
Of course, in juniors, you would always give your opponent a big stare when he hits one off the frame. Of course, the best response I ever had from somebody when I did give them the glare was, well, I pay for the whole frame, might as well use it.
I don't think Stan pays for his frames, though, does he? It's not a line he can use with any honesty. Timely double. Gives Nadal a chance in this game.
Thank you.
Superb tennis. Used his forehand there to dictate play wonderfully well.
Longest rally of the match. What a time for Wawrinka to come up trumps. Such a crucial stage in the set.
And a great response to the double fault on the previous point. What a way to finish. Sending a very strong message down the other end of the court as we enter the second tiebreak of the match.
Second set. Tiebreak. Both players receive
Of course, this is something that Wawrinka has done all season. Competed very well. Wasn't always the case. Believing in himself much more now, especially against the world's best. Let's see what he can do here.
Players already, thank you. Thank you.
That's superb.
Tired of getting bullied. I mean, the length from Wawrinka has been outstanding, and Nadal's trying to play up the court. As I said, forget that. I'm just going to take us early. Enough's enough.
Pause, please.
Really committed to that shot. Not enough spin on it. She's floating long.
0. Nadal.
Two poor shots.
3-0. Nadal.
Remember, he was down in the early stages of the tiebreak at the start of the opening set. And responded well. Nadal with a 3-love lead and 2 serves to come, very much in the driving seat.
To be kidding me. What a stroke. The difficulty factor is right off the charts here to keep your balance and control of the racket head speed with an open stance and go up the line. Incredible.
Took up a really good court position throughout that rally.
Didn't he just, Jason? The footwork was so aggressive. Every time he hits the ball, he's actually jumping into the court. Looking to take the initiative. There he goes, in again. Talk about tightening the screw. He's doing it at precisely the right time.
Not an easy shot, but he made it look very simple. And that, of course, is what all the great shot makers are able to do.
4-2.
Whatever happens in terms of the overall outcome of this second set tiebreak and the match, he's competed well.
I guess if you're his coach, that's all you can ask. Have a discussion before the match, what the game plan's going to be, and I think he's done a good job of executing it best as possible. Of course, there's always a couple of unforced errors that creep in there. It's not done yet.
Of course, let's not forget there's so much at stake as far as Nadal's concerned here. Win will straight sets will take him through to the knockout stages, the semi-finals on Sunday, and it will secure him a year-end #1 ranking. So he's bound to be a little nervous. That's a superb serve.
Nadal.
Ooh,
I'll tell you what, that's just wide.
not for the first time today. Nadal's missed out on a challenge that could have gone in his favour.
And he actually took a little walk up the court, didn't he? He had a look at the ball mark, but he must have thought that it took a piece of the line. Just sensational. The length that Wawrinka's kept in the last 20 to 25 minutes or so has been outstanding.
Showed just enough variety with that inside-out forehand. He's just varied it up a little bit more in the second set. He hasn't been as predictable going to Nadal's backhand as often. First, it's created the space to then go to the weaker side of Rafa. It's the ball right at the pinnacle of the bounce.
Created a problem for himself there, Nadal, in trying to run around the backhands. Lovely return of serve. An unforced error. Poor decision-making from Nadal there really cost him. So after a poor, edgy start to this tie-break, it's Wawrinka now with the ascendancy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, the game plan has been to be aggressive, to go for it. The ball was there to be hit. Couldn't quite find the target. But at least he was in control of his own destiny there. Huge point here.
Let's go.
Very close. Nadal will want another look at that. But I think Wawrinka's made it.
6-5. Wawrinka.
Really good attitude throughout the course of that rally. Set up perfectly by another aggressive serve. Opened up the court beautifully for those remaining ground strokes. 69 minutes. High-octane tennis in this second set. Here's Wawrinka. Set point. Brilliant.
So touch, isn't he? It's incredible how good he is when it really matters.
And it's very important to qualify that, because he's not doing anything there that's incredibly good. He's doing exactly what he would have done on any other point. And again, that very sensible serve to the Wawrinka forehand.
Just, of course, on the previous point as well, he went with the body forehand serve. There again, he knows it's a serve that's been causing Stan all kinds of problems in the last 2 hours plus.
Sticking to a highly effective game plan when under extreme pressure. Match point. Victory for Nadal, and a huge win for the Spaniards. Of course, that secures his safe passage into the knockout stages here in the semi-final. Secures the year-end world #1 ranking. And that's what will delight the Spaniards.